ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأن محمدا عبده ورسوله أكرمه بالنبوة وجعله رحمة للعالمين اللهم صل وسلم على عبدك ورسولك وحافظ سرك ومبلغ رسالتك وصل على وصيه وأخيه أمير المؤمنين وعلى الصديقة الطاهرة فاطمة سيدة نساء العالمين وصل على ستي الرحمة الحسن والحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة وصل على أئمة المسلمين علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والخلف القائم المهدي وجدك على عبادك وأمنائك في بلادك صلاة كثيرة دائمة اللهم كن لوليك الحجة بن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا معينا حتى تسكنه أرضك توعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Condolences on the martyrdom of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. Last week the discussion was about the Holy Quran as the path for peace and paradise, as a path of success and salvation. We continue that discussion as we are going through nights of power, Nuzul al-Quran, revelation of Kitabullah in these nights, as we honor the greatest mufassir of the Quran, Amir al-Mu'mineen. So we are dealing with two Qurans. Al-Quran as-Samit, the book of Allah, Al-Quran al-Natiq, Amir al-Mu'mineen. One is silent book and the other one is the speaking book. The Quran is Kalamullah, Kitabullah, Kitab al-Shifa, Kitab al-Dawa, Kitab al-Nur wal-Burhan, Kitab al-Hidayah, Kitab al-Bishara wal-Indhar. It's a book of cure and light and logic. Al-Quran al-Azim, Al-Quran al-Hakim, Al-Quran al-Majid, Al-Quran al-Kareem. These four qualities. This is a great book, a book of wisdom, a book of glory, and a book of dignity. إن هو إلا ذكر للعالمين. It is a universal message for humanity. لو مات من بين المشرق والمغرب لما استوحشت بعد أن يكون القرآن معي. Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam is saying that if there is no one in the entire world and I'm just by myself on this planet, I feel no fear if Quran is with me. What are, brothers and sisters, our duties towards this Quran? Number one, تعلموا كتاب الله, to learn it. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وآله ألا من تعلم القرآن وعلمه وعمل بما فيه فأنا له سائق إلى الجنة. You want the Prophet Muhammad to be your driver, directs you to Jannah, to paradise. Learn this Quran and practice this Quran. Number two, tilawatul Quran. إذا أحب أحدكم أن يحدث ربه فليقرأ القرآن. Anytime you like to talk with Allah, recite the Quran. يقال لصاحب القرآن اقرأ وأرق. In paradise, it says if you want to go higher and higher and higher, you continue to read and read and read the Quran, and you go higher and higher. Number three, التدبر في القرآن. أفلا يتدبرون القرآن أم على قلوب أقفالها. And Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam said, ألا لا خير في قراءة ليس فيها تدبر. Recitation without reflection is not helpful, is not helping you. Number four, al-istima'u ila al-Quran, to listen to Quran. ألا من اشتاق إلى الله فليستمع كلام الله. If you miss your Lord, then listen to His words. وإذا قرأ القرآن فاستمعوا له. When Quran is recited, listen to it. Number five, حفظ القرآن, to memorize it. إن الذي ليس في جوفه شيء من القرآن كالبيت الخراب. If some Muslim don't have anything from the Quran in his memory, in her memory, then really the foundation of that soul is not firm, is not sound. It's like a ruined building. Number six, in addition to learning it, listening to it, reciting it, reflecting on it. Finally, number six, al-amalu bil-Quran. The Shaheed of Ramadan, alayhi salam, قال Allah في القرآن لا يسبقكم بالعمل به غيركم. What if the paper of the Quran is your hand, but the practice of the Quran is other people's hand? If we follow the Quran, brothers and sisters, then the Quran is Kitabul Rahmah, Kitabul Afu wal Maghfirah, Kitabul Salam wal Sadaqa. The followers of this book must be ambassadors of peace and forgiveness, ambassadors of mercy, morality, and modesty. This book is there لعلكم تعقلون, لعلكم تهتدون, لعلكم توقنون, لعلكم تشكرون. Then you can think, you can be guided, you can be grateful, and you can get to the point of certainty and vision in your life. جاء أعرابي إلى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله Somebody Arabi. Arabi means from Badia, Sahara, from desert. Because Arabi is not, when you say Arab, is not the plural for Arab. Because not any Arab is Arabi, right? The plural for Arab is Urab. So Al-A'rab probably is not plural of anything, it's just one word. But if it is plural, it is plural of Al-A'rabi, which is someone who lives in desert. No civilization, no science. That is ignorant, Al-A'rabi. Unfortunately, a lot of Arab are Arabi anyway, but not every Arab is Arabi. We know that. You have Arab, the source of civilization and science for hundreds and hundreds of years. And the world, the world, Islamic world and Arab world, a great deal of contribution to civilization. But this Al-Arabi came to the Holy Prophet and said that, I have my camel at the door. I heard that you are the messenger of God. I just came to learn something from you. It is something quick, like fast food, fast education. You know, ta'aleem is tadrij. The Prophet is there, yu'allimuhum, yuzakkihim, yani gradual, takes time. It didn't come for i'lam, just say one announcement and, finish. No, i'lam is different from ta'aleem. As we say, inzal different from tanzil, right? Quran has an inzal, means daf'atan wahida, wa tanzil means tadrij. Anything babul if'al, daf'atan wahida. Anything babul taf'il means tadrij, gradual. This Arabi came to the Prophet and said, Ya Rasulullah, tell me something about religion. I'm so in a hurry, I have to go. The Prophet, he knows the audience and what to choose, what time and what place. He said, فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ, I came for this verse. This is my message. فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَهُ وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَهُ. Even mithqal dharra, the weight of an atom, good or evil actions are counted in the eyes of God. قال يا رسول الله حسبي حسبي هي أحكم آيات. That is enough. That's enough. I learned أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. Prophet, peace be upon him, said, جاء أعرابي ورجع فقيها. With one verse, now he became faqih. He has the fiqh and the depth of understanding of this religion. This is why Imam al-Baqir said, ما من شيء إلا وله أصل في الكتاب والسنة. Anything has roots in this book. Somebody said, Ya Ibn Rasulullah, then I have a wound on my foot and now I want to make a wudu. I cannot do the mask, I can't wipe my foot. What does Quran say about this? Does Quran say anything about somebody had wound and jaraha? Al-Imam alayhi salam said, yes, inna hadihi wa ashbahahu yurafu min kitab Allah. Yes, the Quran talks about this. He said, how? He said, Quran said, ma ja'ala alaykum fi ad-din min haraj. The religion is not to put you in hardship and bring headache for you. Imsah ala al-marara. Don't open it. Don't bother the wound. Just keep the bandage on and just do the mask and wipe over the marara, over the bandage, over the wound dressing. Because the Quran says, مَا جَعَلَ عَلَيْكُمْ فِي الدِّينِ مِنْ حَرَجٍ. And from that verse we understand that how to deal with a foot which is wounded and you want to make salat and you make wudu, you don't have to go through haraj. But brothers and sisters, who can understand this book? لا يمسه إلا المطهرون. Only those minds and hearts that are clean can understand the depth of this book. Who can understand it? Who can say وَلَوْ شِئْتُ لَأَوْقَرْتُ لَكُمْ 70 بَعِيرًا في تفسير فاتحة الكتاب. I can talk and write explaining this opening chapter سبع المثاني. So many mujalladat, so many volumes that even 70 camels cannot carry those books. This is the bayan of Amir al-Mu'mineen, who is ma'soom, never lies. How he can say that? Because إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. They are مطهرون. The maximum tahara, the maximum qidasa, the maximum cleanliness means the maximum understanding of this book. And this is why Rasul alayhi salam chose this man as his brothers in this world and hereafter. Ya Ali, anta akhi fi dunya wal akhirah. Ana madinatul ilm wa aliyun babaha. He said, you want to choose your master? Man kuntu mula, fahada aliyun mula. Explain the prophets. Are you surprised if the sha'ir said, تهدمت والله أركان الهدى واهتزت السماء وسكانها في قتل ابن أم محمد المصطفى قتله أشقى الأشقياء. When there is a zilzal, a quake in the entire universe of the istishhad, the martyrdom of صوت العدالة وصوت العبادة وصوت العلم والعقلانية وصوت العفو والرحمة وصوت الإيمان والاستقامة وصوت الوفاء والأمانة وصوت الصبر والصداقة وصوت الحب والرحمة والحكمة وصوت الإحسان والأخلاق والإيثار والشجاعة. The man of truth and justice, a voice of wisdom, a voice of worship, a voice of work and action, the voice of peace and patience and prayer and love and loyalty, the voice of courage and commitment and confidence and contribution and communication and service to humanity, a universal man of God. This is Amir al-Mu'mineen, and today, brothers and sisters, is the day of martyrdom of this man of God. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. It should be so painful to mourn the death of this divine man. When Sauda al-Hamdaniya met with Muawiyah, complaining about a corrupt governor of Muawiyah in Basra, and Muawiyah was not paying enough attention. This lady, Sauda al-Hamdaniya al-Shaja'a, courageous lady, he said, Muawiyah, Salla al-ilahu ala ruhin تضمنه قبر فأصبح فيه العدل مدفونا قد حالف الحق لا يبغي به ثمنا فصار بالحق والإيمان مقرونا. درود, the salam and salutation of Allah on the soul of a man. When he died, justice died, truth died, humanity died with him. I'm talking about Amir al-Mu'mineen Muawiyah, and she mentioned the story of a day that he met with Imam Ali, complaining about a governor, and how Imam Ali right away took a piece of paper and wrote on that and told that governor, leave that area and leave the amana for someone who is Amin. When I remember that Amir al-Mu'mineen cried and he said, oh Allah, be witness that I'm not part of this injustice that this governor exercised to your people. أنا بريء من بما عمل. Muawiyah was surprised of courage of As-Suda al-Hamdaniyah, and finally he said that they had to take care of what she wanted and she was asking for. Yes, brothers and sisters, it is sad to mourn the martyrdom and the death of this man. The absence of Ali, the absence of the Quran, the absence of these values and principles made our world crazy. This insanity and ignorance, this injustice, this disgracefulness and dishonesty that is governing this world shows the importance of values that the Quran and Amir al-Mu'mineen were promoting. It's very, very disappointing, very disgraceful. Of course, we human beings, we all are sinful, we all make mistakes, we have all shortcomings, whether religious leader, business people, political. But when it comes to political leadership, of course, they have more power and they have more responsibility. And when you see this zigzagging and this dishonesty in the political direction in this country and other countries, then you value the leadership of Amir al-Mu'mineen. You know, when 9/11 happened and 3,000 people lost their lives, that nobody cares about them anymore and nobody talks about them anymore. At that time, the Iranian people were the first one who light the candle to honor the memories of the victims of 9/11. Last week when the ISIS attacked innocent people and they blindly and crazily started shooting at men, women and children in Tehran, what was the reaction of President Trump to that tragedy? He sent condolences, but at the same time he blamed Iran for supporting terrorism. He didn't mention ISIS, he didn't mention radical Islam in that case. He didn't mention the awfulness of Al-Qaeda and terrorism. He blamed them for supporting terrorism, while thousands and thousands of Iranians lost their lives in Syria and Iraq, fighting ISIS and terrorists over there. Where is dignity and honesty to recognize that? Same man who goes there and he dances with those who are behind everything that is happening everywhere, in California, in Florida, in New York, in Washington, in Manchester, in Paris. Everywhere there is an act of terrorism, they are inspired by the ideology that's followed by those corrupt kings. All of a sudden, bin Salman says that, you know, Trump is a true friend of Muslim. Isn't it interesting? He said, he is the true friend of Muslim. And then this guy, on the same day that this terrorism happened, and at the same day that over 40 million people, they voted to choose a voice of wisdom, a man of modesty and moderation. They were smart enough not to choose somebody like Trump, not a warmonger, not a hate monger, a loving peace-making man. They did not react to the election of Trump and say, oh, now they have Trump, we have to choose like Ahmadinejad. No, they chose Rouhani, man of modesty and moderation. The same day this guy in Saudi Arabia is condemning them, and the same day the Congress, they are approving additional sanction against Iran. What is this disgraceful of politics in this world? They are doing the same day. Then the same guy says, well, now my trip to Saudi was a very big success. And I realized that Qatar is a big supporter of terrorism. And he thinks that was a big achievement, that he discovered that Qatar is a big supporter of terrorism, and the Saudis are not nice. They pay over $100 billion. They are peacemaker, but the Qataris are supporter of terrorism. A few days later, just 2 days ago, they approved of $12 billion of those F-15 jet fighters to Qatar. If you consider Qatar as a country that supports terrorism, how come the day after you give them $12 billion of weapon while you are putting sanctions against Iran because they support terrorism, but Qatar support terrorism, but good terrorism. You know, they support Al-Nusra and, you know, Al-Qaeda. We have good terrorism and we have bad terrorism. Brothers and sisters, you see, when we talk about Imam Ali leadership, this is the pain, this is the sadness, this is what we must cry, of how Imam Ali, victims of the ISIS of his time, in Shahr Ramadan, in Masjid, fi hal al-salah, fi hal al-sujud, this voice of truth and justice be killed. This is extremely painful of the loss of Amir al-Mu'mineen. And if we look for any solution in our world, we need to bring back those values of Al-Quran, the message, and Amir al-Mu'mineen, the model. These are extremely needed in this world. And if we as Muslim community wake up more, there are people in these countries that they are looking and they are thirsty of truth. I mean, look at last week, as a matter of fact, last Saturday, when there was a huge demonstration all over the United States against Islam, Islamophobia, a demonstration in over 30 cities in this country. You know that 129 American organizations and civil rights organizations and interfaith organizations, they condemn those anti-Islam demonstrations and marchers all over the United States. They stood against Islamophobia. This is what makes America great. This is what makes us to love this country and this nation, because of this kind of people. That everybody is not thinking like Trump. Everybody is not thinking like some of those crazy guys in the Congress. We have our honorable Congresswoman Debbie Dingell, who spoke last Saturday against those marchers, against those warmongers and hate mongers. And she said they don't represent this country. They participated and they stood against those people who said, ban on Sharia, ban on Sharia. What do you mean? Where is that Sharia that you want to ban it? Sharia law, they want to ban it. First of all, find it. Where is that Sharia law? Where is that book of Sharia law? And then you can ban it. If you're really serious about banning Sharia law, you have to ban Saudi Arabia. That is the source of Sharia law that you are talking about, beheading and killing and terrorism. Well, you welcome them. You have no problem with that. So you are the ones who are really talking about fake news. That is the real fake news, to make imaginary Sharia law, and then you want to ban this Sharia law. So those people, they participate. I don't think any of us went to that march. But non-Muslim, American non-Muslims, last Saturday, in over 30 cities, they marched on the streets against those Islamophobia guys. and they were saying, no hate, no fear, Muslims are welcome here. Isn't it an honorable statement?
Sallallahu Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Yes, no hate, no fear. Muslims are welcome here. This is the true voice of America. These are the people that we should say, God bless America in this sense. But if people like Trump and other politicians want to continue that craziness and insanity and disgraceful policies, do they expect that still people in Iran or in Lebanon and other country saying God bless America? Are they surprised if they are angry and they say something else? For us, brothers and sisters, as Muslim community, of course, we have to wake up. We have to be more active. We have to build bridges of partnership and cooperation. We have to say more against terrorism. Of course, we say it in House of Wisdom, but not every mosque does the same thing in this country. You go to many mosques now all over the country, and you say they're business as usual. They just, some religious stuff, and not too much mentioning even ISIS. So we as Muslim community must wake up even more and more and condemn more and more terrorism and ISIS and Al-Qaeda and those who support them with ideology, with treasury, with military, with media. We have to continue that. And this is why House of Wisdom chooses interfaith as one of its priority. We don't have income and all this usbu and all of this, but we have services of education and outreach to other communities. Even we are using Shahr Ramadan, we are planning a huge iftar to invite interfaith, non-Muslims, to the mosque to share with them the message of the Quran, the message of Ahlul Bayt, the voice of Amir al-Mu'mineen. And this is why it is a duty for our community to support this kind of services. We shouldn't be like with this sound system and with this thing in this masjid while we have such a strong message for our country and for our world. I know that we have a very generous communities, and we help overseas orphans, poor. As I even mentioned last week, we have to support people who are suffering, especially now in Yemen, the orphans in Yemen, people who are dying by thousands by waba now, disease and lack of food and fruit and water. And they are dying of starvation and also bombardment, and no hospital and no pharmacy and no medicine and nothing. We must help them in any way we can. But at the same time, brothers and sisters, we shouldn't forget that we have so many orphans here in this country. Not necessarily biological orphans, but orphans in spirituality, orphans in education. We have so many homeless youth. So many of our youth are homeless when it comes to identity, faith, spirituality, Islamic values. And this is why we deal with drugs and alcohol and suicide and craziness and losing our youth. So we need to do more investment also to bring up this generation and educate our own children. So when we have a strong, educated community, Muslim, then we can contribute even more and more. And we are stronger. They cannot deal with an educated community easily because they need education. They need the services of our community. We have to be very careful as we are honoring Knights of Power and Istishhad Amir al-Mu'mineen. Take this opportunity. There are people in our community, they are wealthy, but they never paid khums and zakat in their life. I know many of you do. Where is really the order of zakat next to salat and next to siyam and hajj is a wajib. Zakat, khums is wajib. We all need to have Ra's al-Sana. And night of power is the best time to choose that 21st of Ramadan or Laylatul Qadr al-Kubra. That is my Ras al-Sana. I have to pay my khums. Khums for education. Khums is not only to feed people physically, that's part of it, but to bring light of education to everyone. And you know, House of Wisdom is one of those recognized. No center has as many permission from Maraja when it comes to Khums and Zakat than House of Wisdom. You can see the ahkam is over there. Look at the papers. All the marjas, Qadiman wa Hadith, and they supported, they trusted this House of Wisdom. And even without that, you know House of Wisdom better than any marja. And the services and contribution of this center, we have to support this. And we have to bring more strength to our community. سارعوا إلى مغفرة من ربكم وجنة عرضها السماوات والأرض أعدت للمتقين. The paradise with this huge size of heavens and earth is prepared for muttaqin. Who are the muttaqin? الذين ينفقون في السراء والضراء والكاظمين الغيظ والعافين عن الناس والله يحب المحسنين. Those people of charity, those who spend in the path of God at any time, the time of pleasure, the time of pain, the time of happiness, the time of hardship. They do it privately, they do it publicly. فأيها الإخوة الأخوات كونوا من الذين يسارعون إلى مغفرة من ربهم وكونوا من الكاظمين الغيظ وكونوا من العافين عن الناس كونوا من المحسنين. Be generous. وأقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولجميع المؤمنين في مشارق الأرض ومغاربها وإلى الصلاة إن الصلاة تنهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.